If you were the energy and intelligence that initiated the creative process, and you realized you were just getting started as, you know, it took you 14 billion years, you know, energy, light, matter, life, consciousness, you know, self-reflective awareness. It took you this long to produce a life form, right, that would even be able to begin to cognize the whole process. It means you are only just beginning to reawaken to who you are. Which means matter, which is this, is just beginning to awaken to itself, right? It's because we've been inert, right? And then as, you know, matter became life, then matter started becoming conscious. But consciousness was still embedded in matter, right? So when you for very low forms of life, there's just sensation. So there's consciousness, but it's consciousness just of some sensation and impulses, right? So then the consciousness itself is still trapped in matter. It's not, right? It's still embedded. So what's so extraordinary, so significant, is that you know, with the evolution of culture, so 40,000 years, and then let's say 15,000 years, and then 10,000 years, 5,000 years, 3,000 years, 2,000 years, 1,000 years, 500 years, 200 years, 100 years. A lot of evolution at the level of consciousness has been happening over the last 15,000 years. So in my own way of presenting some of these ideas, I do have a tendency to theologize some of these concepts to make a point. So I'm just warning you that I do that, but I'm doing it knowingly. I'm not doing it unconsciously. So I'm conscious of what I'm doing to convey a certain sentiment, which to me is real, and you can just do whatever you want with them. But how I interpret so I would go that extra step. If we agree that if you step back far enough from the process, because, you know, a lot of people say, well, there isn't any direction to evolution, it's all random, because it just meanders here and there. Well, if you step far enough back from or away from the process itself, you will begin to recognize that there definitely is direction, there definitely is development if you stand back far enough. So if we admit there's telos of directionality, then I personally would venture to say that there was intention. Intention by whom or by what? By the energy and intelligence that initiated the creative process. You see my point? But I'm taking that extra leap. But for me, that's what my experience is. I experienced that intention. And I don't think I'm making it up. So I'm taking it that extra step of saying that in the first cause, or the urge to become, in the creative impulse of first cause, there was an urge to become. I interpret that as an intention. So I'm saying the energy and intelligence that initiated the creative process, which is what God has had an intention. And I think looking back, that by looking back we can deduce or determine that a big part of what that intention had to be all about was for consciousness to be able to emerge in and through material form or matter. Follow? So as I was saying, that we can see that from the particular point in the process that we are right now, it seems that energy and intelligence is authentically and genuinely beginning to awaken to itself. Awaken to itself means that human beings have now reached that point where they're actually beginning to be able to grasp or cognize the very process that gave birth to it directly, unmitigated and unfiltered by and through pre-modern mythical worldviews and notions. See my point? So we've gotten to that point in our own development where we're beginning to be able to directly grasp or directly cognize the process itself, free from pre-modern metaphysical and mythical filters and concepts. See my point? And what's very interesting now, and this is why I'm beginning to use the word God again, is I feel that is that whole concept of a kind of an absolute principle, an absolute creative principle, is beginning to enter back into the process. But not as other, not as, Big Daddy or Big Mommy in the sky, but as the self.